Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Michigan here with another battle breakdown for you. I believe this is episode 6, and today we are fighting Drax on Fisherman's Bay. So, as always, I'm going to go over the map, the strategy, the lineup, and why we put people where we're putting them. So, let's get started on that real quick, because these videos tend to go a little over the 15-minute limit that I like to set on them. Alright, so starting from the bottom, we have 2 EBRs. Now, one EBR is going to run 2-3 line, obviously, as normally we run, even if we run only one EBR. And the second EBR is going to play 6-7, and then he's going to work into the 8 line into the city. If you haven't noticed, I am working the map with my mouse here in that bottom right, because I can't click on a replay. So, what do we have next? We have an E3. That E3 is going to be right up here at Golf 2. Where my mouse is, he is there to support the EBR. However, the E3 plays a second, more important role, which I'll talk about in a second, and there's a reason we brought an E3 and not a Sturv or a Grill. Version 4 and my IS-7s and 277s, they're staging up. They're right where I've clicked at Golf 1. Their goal is going to be to take the AB line. Now, that just leaves the Chieftains. The Chieftains are going to be mostly on the left side of the city. Now, for this strategy, it's crucial that they're on over there at about Foxtrot 4 and not 5 and 6. We are going to put a few tanks over there to spot, but I think 3 of the 5 Chieftains will be over there on the left. Now, why is that? Well, because we're playing the 1 line, we don't have any way to stop anything coming down 6, 7, 8, 9, which means these Chieftains will rapidly, if they're on the right side, be overwhelmed and outmatched. So, what we're going to do is we're going to focus the left side of the city with the anticipation when we push out into Bravo A or Alpha Bravo 1, 2, that they'll have our back so the Chieftains can actually rotate left and get some cover. Now, let's talk about that E3 again. So again, why an E3? Well, what is an E3's characteristics? The biggest things are that 750 Alpha gun and that crazy armor. And that's exactly why we're bringing it. We needed a tank that can take hits, but can also dish out the damage. Now, a Sturv can kind of take hits, but the 390 Alpha isn't going to cut it. The Grill, 750, but no armor. So the E3 is going to play perfectly here. Now, why is that? Because when the enemies push 6-7, which they most likely do here, teams don't normally like to push one line from the other side. They like to come down the 6-7-8. This E3 can move back into J3 and 4 or J1, 2, and dish out the 750 to any tanks trying to flake around. Now, it is only 1 E3, but remember, that 1 E3 has 750 Alpha, and we need to commit to AB1. So, now that we have the initial call, let's let things go here. Now, this is going to be an example of thinking on the fly here, and basically throwing your initial strategy out the window at some points, because the goal is to overmatch the enemy tanks in Alpha Bravo 1, 2. With the support of the Chieftains. That's the goal here. I'm anticipating them having maybe a few Chieftains, some S-Conks back here that we can smash through while holding. But we're going to find out very quickly that sometimes your initial strategy does not work properly. Okay, so there we go. See, there's the 6-7. They're on this 5-6 line, but they're trending towards 6-7. So we know they're playing their left, our right side of this little town here. Now you can see I've already asked the E3 to not even bother going up here. Now why did I do that? 1, they only have 1 EBR, and where was that EBR spotted? On the other side of the map, so that E3 no longer needs to support it. We also know that they're going hard 6-7. The leopard up on the top there at Bravo 2, Bravo 1, indicates that that is just a delaying action. They're not actually committing anything over there. So whenever you see a leopard up here, usually there isn't much else over there. So we don't even need to worry about that because the IS-7s, 277s will take it out if they're even able to. What happens is once they push, the leopard usually falls back to A6 or A7 and then tries to snipe us if we come across. So immediately I'm pulling the E3 back right where you've clicked so that he can get better angles. Now I could leave him here, but he's not going to have as good of an angle of shots on there. So let's keep it going. So again, you can see me clicking there, my predicted route that they're going to take. Now you can see I pulled one of the Chieftains all the way over. Grayslave is going to come over here and join on the left. Again, we don't have to worry about that leopard that much. But Cooper over here is going to maintain just some spotting. But you'll see in a second, he's going to be pulled back as well. So we're looking for shots on that left. Let's take a look here. We're going to kind of let this battle develop. Nothing is spotted right now on the enemy team. Alright, so now I'm calling the push. So this is kind of the trigger right here. The enemies are on defense. So what they're doing with this strat, which we've seen before, is waiting for our team to commit. And by committing up to Bravo 1, they know if they push around this way, these tanks up here will not have shots across. Again, the purpose of the 1E3. So let's take a look at how this pans out. That is a huge concentration. Every tank that is lit right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vehicles, and it looks like there's still 2 unspotted, so 8, 9 vehicles are all concentrated on that 6, 7 line. And there we go. You can see them moving, and I've called Cooper and Tanner back. Again, we don't want them to get overwhelmed. So here come the S-Conk. Now what we need to do as chieftains is, again, you can see where I'm about to go, is we need to stretch this field. We cannot all hide behind this one building. It's just not going to happen. We do have a building here, building here, building here. We have a... oh, that's not what I meant to click. We have a little bunker that we can hide behind. So we're going to go into some first person here, kind of look at what I'm looking at. And unfortunately, we're going to lose the EBR on the left. And I'm going to take a hit from the S-Conk. But now we're in an interesting situation. They're trying to take this area, and we're holding the middle, but we're also taking Bravo 1, Bravo 2. Now, you have to remember, in a moment here, I actually called it too late. But when the Leopard runs like that, it basically makes this AB1 useless. You cannot really do anything with this position. So you'll see what we'll do in a moment. We're just going to go in here and kind of watch things unfold. Unfortunately, I am not going to get very lucky here with my RNG. A lot of green here, but not a lot of panic. Fortunately, that goes high. My fault there for aiming. Now we're going to kind of just keep rolling and take a look at what else is happening. So the E3 is looking for shots on those chieftains. And I believe that one S-Conk on 2012 over there, who is that? Warlin, probably took a hit from that E3, and that's why they're not committing. Now you can see I pulled 2 IS-7s back. Those IS-7s are going to support the E3. If they push hard around the right side, the E3 will not be able to handle it by himself. Hence the 2 IS-7s. IS-7s are not the greatest tanks for sniping, but something better than nothing. E3 is going to get another great shot in there. Now, what the enemies could do right now is push hard through the middle. They do have us overmatched, but I'm not sure if they didn't know how many tanks we had over here, or they weren't entirely sure if they could deal with the E3, but I digress. So, now you can see the big turning point in this map, or the big adjustment that I'm going to make that will either make or break this game. I have called back all of the vehicles on this side, or on the Alpha Bravo 1, 2, 3 area, except for the 277. Now, the reason we aren't calling the 277 back is, yes, I have an EBR over here, but that EBR may need to do any number of things, such as reset cap, push in, clear out one-shots, identify low health, all sorts of stuff. So the 277 is going to be the most flexible vehicle to hang out there. The I-7s also just have more HP. I'm also calling these 2 IS-7s back as well. Unfortunately, there's going to be a bit of miscommunication there. They're not going to hear me, so it's going to take a little bit for them to make that adjustment. Now, part of this call is I instructed these vehicles to just hang out right down there. You can see where I'm clicking right now. Not to poke up. The reason is we don't want the enemies realizing that we're pushing, or that we're going to do that. Now you can see I'm telling the I-7s again to rotate back. And once I call them out by name, they're ready to go. Unfortunately, a little bit delayed there, as the other heavies are ready to go. One I-7 is a little overextended there, but he's going to come back through. Now, what is the plan here? The plan is to overwhelm the middle. Now, again, let's do what we normally do for our counting cards, quote-unquote, instead of counting tanks. We are short 1 vehicle, so 15 minus 1, that's 14. We have a 277 and an EBR. That is 13, 12. We also have the E3 that can't push. That's 11. So we have 11 tanks that could possibly be coming middle, and we're going to use all of them. Now, the enemy have a decent chunk, but they're short, so they have 15, minus the Leopard, 14, IS-7, 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 13, 12, 11. So it is 11 on 11 right now. But let's take a look. We still have an IS-4 unlit. So as it currently stands, we're expecting an 11 on 11. So once those IS-7s get down there, we are going to take care of it. However, it should be noted that we do have a hit point advantage. I've taken the most damage out of anybody on our team currently. And that's unfortunate because I have the Inspire and the Strike. Alright, so I got shot by an S-Conk from right about in there. Okay, so now we can go back to our counting cards video. Or, not video, expression. So you see, I just got shot by a Chieftain. So that puts them over all the way in the corner. That puts them at 10. So now they have 10 vehicles over there. I wonder if they have anything else in that pile. Now that is a little alarming. You can see me clicking it. Because we can get crossfired. However, those Chieftains, even with a good reload of about 8 or 9 seconds, or even 7, I'm not exactly sure what it is, they're not going to have shots indefinitely. And they certainly aren't going to be trading hit points. So here come the IS-7s. Now, there's a specific way that we're going to run this strat. We could say everybody push in together. However, we're going to have the Chieftains follow the IS-7s. And let's kind of discuss why that's the case. In terms of, first of all, we have the hit point difference. The IS-7s are all full health. The Chieftains have all taken some amount of damage, whether it's me who's on half health, or Graveslave who's taken 1 shot, or Darth who's taken 1 shot. But on top of that, the Chieftain is just a better vehicle. So if this becomes a late game strat, the Chieftain's going to be faster, it'll have better DPM, better rate of fire, and it has gun depression and better gun handling. So we want the tanks that are made for brawling, not that the Chieftain isn't, but are strictly made for brawling, to be the first ones in and take those hits. So let's take a look. So what we're looking to do is we're going to push around the right side here. Remember, I got shot by 1 Chieftain, but there's also 3 IS-7s and a Leopard over here. So we don't want to be dealing with the left side of the city. We're going to stick to the right. Now, obviously, version 4 is in first. Great job there. And now I'm about to call the Chieftains in here in a second. So there we go. And let's talk about the Arty Strike really quick. So you can see right where I dropped that. I don't want to drop it too far in the path of our own incoming vehicles. But I also want to make sure that it's on top of those Chieftains and dislodging them from their position. The way they're set up in those buildings is going to make it a lot harder for our tanks to really clear them out. So by using the Arty Strike, we're going to kick them out of that box. You can see them starting to back up. Now I'm going to move in, and I'm going to stay in third person here as we push. So they're dropping strikes. Now, a little bit of an interesting situation there. We had 3 tanks push through and 1 back out. Now, as long as the tank that backed out is going to try and make it around. Now, let's take a look at how this is going. So, we already have 3 Dog Knight all the way in the middle of those tanks. Now, he has turned 1 gun, and everybody else in there is really focused on him. That S-Conk, unfortunately, is turned on him. So, that's not going to do too much there. But what we do have is these IS-7s flanking all the way around, and there's another Chieftain. So, I got hit by 1 Chieftain from all the way over there. Presumably, it could be the same vehicle. So, I'm going to keep working. Now, I am going to make a little bit of a misplay here, but at the same time, you could argue that it isn't. My goal here is I've got 25 seconds left on this Inspire. I also want to clear out this S-Conk who's poking out against the back of the building. If I die, the Inspire goes away. I am a 3-shot or a 4-shot, depending on how high they roll, anything that gets unlucky. So I'm really just trying to conserve my hit points here until this Inspire goes. But I also am not going to just drive through this Arty Strike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to support and finish that Chieftain off. Okay, now I'm going to roll around this way. So we have split into 2 pretty solid groups. We have basically Team 1 over here and Team 2. Now, whether this happened accidentally or just the positions people were in, this is the way you want to do it. If you have everybody coming around one side, the whole enemy team or the whole enemy detachment here knows where to point their gun. It would be over here, same other way, same as the other side. If all these tanks were in the middle, the enemy team would all be pointing their guns towards the middle. This way, it appears that the enemies are all focusing the middle, which is going to allow this version 4, the two IS-7s, the Chieftain, and soon to be myself, to completely sweep around the back of them. Let's take a look at how this plays out. I am going to take 50 damage there. We're going to quickly finish off that vehicle. And now it's pretty much just a huge shootout here. Now, I'm going to give props to our team here because we have an EBR on the left and we have an S-Conk. We could easily just try and stop. I could stop here, hide behind this dead tank. Anybody could have done that and just start shooting the EBR or the S-Conk. But what they're doing instead is they're going to focus exactly what's on front of them, that 879 hit point vehicle. Now, what I'm looking to do here is now we have what we call the 2-on-1. So that means that for every 2 of our vehicles, they should have 1 vehicle so that we guarantee an overmatch or hit points. So you can see where what I'm lining up to do, and that's to shoot the S-Conk. And so is Lilo. Now, let's take a look at what we have in our immediate area versus what the enemies have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles, mostly on full health against several mid to low or medium health tanks. So that is easily a 2-to-1. That means that I can engage this S-Conk and be pretty confident that these tanks will be able to clear those vehicles out. Let's keep it going. So, we're going to keep rolling it. I'm going to keep looking at that S-Conk. There we go. Now I'm going to get shot by the Chieftain, so that threat is gone. I'm going to look, so there's another one shot. Remember, one shots, especially if you can. The Chieftain has better rate of fire, better DPM than the IS-7. So I'd rather the IS-7s be able to use their maximum amount of alpha, the 490, and hit tanks for 490. I'm happy to take out those low health vehicles so that our IS-7s can maximize their damage output. So now we're in a different situation. Remember, this battle changes so rapidly. We are now facing 2 Chieftains on our right and some heavies on our left. So what is the play here? Do we, well, there's 3 options here. We can sit here and fight it out from where we're at. We can push those Chieftains, or we can push the heavies. So if you weren't in this battle, I want you to kind of think about what you think we should do. I'll just give you a couple of seconds here, and then we'll kind of weigh our options. Alright, so if you've made your decision, you'll kind of see what we do in a second. So, what are the positives of going for those 2 Chieftains, and the negatives? Well, there's less tanks over there. We have a much bigger overmatch. However, we do have to cross an open field, and we have tanks right behind us that could get up on this ridge and shoot us in the side. So, that's option A. Now, we also could just sit here. You know, we cleared this area out, we've got some cover, we could maybe just tank the Chieftain shots, the E3 maybe can go over there and get it, the EBR maybe, and we'll play it out that way. That's option B. Option C, we could push these heavy tanks. We're overmatched, but we wouldn't get shot by the Chieftains in our rear. So, which options do you think we pick? Let's take a look here. So, looking for a shot on an IS-7. And now I have decided that we are going to go push through this. It's a dangerous situation. You can see the crossfire here. EBR, IS-7, IS-7, IS-4, IS-7. We do have a full health IS-7 who can crash down. We also have the 277. So we're going to utilize those 2 vehicles to clear our left flank. Let's keep going with it. Now, I'm hanging back here a little bit just because I'm on lower health. And unfortunately, that's going to cost me from the Leopard in the back. But we can now kind of take a look at how this is going. Now the 277's coming up from the back. Here's the IS-7 on full health. Those 2 vehicles, again, 2-on-1s. So even the EBR's involved. We have 2 full health tanks against 1 IS-7. We can deal with that. We can ignore the EBR. We don't need to worry about him either. Now, immediate threat. We have 4 heavies, one of which is on one shot, on 1 IS-4. That's easily a 2v1. So that's 2 tanks you should be able to clear out without too much loss. They're still working on that IS-4. Now remember, we still have 2 chieftains in the back, so I've moved the E3 up to try and at least flank those chieftains. But in the second here, I'm going to make a realization, which could be costly. We have the 2v1 going on over here. And now it occurs to me that those chieftains could have just pushed underneath and back into the city to try and flank us. And now take a look at this situation here, because we have another one, and this is what everybody needs to realize as individuals. If I was in Malto's tank or Graveslave, I would look at my HP, I'd be like, I'm on 550, I'm on 74. Look behind me to see a half-health chieftain. Now, half-health in a game like this is huge. You can take a couple hits. So we're going to get that chieftain all the way to the front. He's going to take 1 hit, but it's okay. Fortunately, I'm going to get a little bit of a traffic jam there, and now they're going to follow that vehicle in. Now, Malto can technically take a hit because he's on 550, but he could also be rolled to get higher than that. The EBR is going to finish off the Leopard. That solves that problem. There are the chieftains coming in behind us. So now, when you have this situation, you have to go, and clear out those tanks in front of you. You don't want to turn around and deal with the stuff behind you until you figure out or deal with what's in front of you. We also, remember, we have a full health E3. That E3 has 2,200 hit points. So take the 4,000, subtract 22. We're really only up by 1,800. And that's a few shots per chieftain. One more on that Leopard, so the EBR is going to finish the Leopard off, and now we're going to reorient. I'm going to ask everybody, so now we're going to do the same thing in reverse. We have a full health 277 here. We have a bunch of lower health vehicles, so we're going to get that 277 up front. Our EBR is going to go after their EBR, keep him out of the way. We have plenty of time. Don't let the clock get to your head too much. Malto is going to go around the left side. Perfectly acceptable there. Remember, same as we had up here. Split into 2 groups to get their guns pointing 2 different ways. As long as you're converging on one objective, you're good. 277's coming in. Everybody else is going to finish that off. We have the IS-7 coming around the right side. Nobody's going to see him coming. Chieftain's actually going to attempt to get a shot on him. And that is just about going to finish this game off. Just about. Alright. Actually, I forgot. There's a very interesting portion of this game, which is yet to be talked about, but we'll get. So now we have a situation which actually can't be underestimated. Right? We're up 5,400 health. We have, 6 more vehicles than they do. Or 5 extra vehicles. But, there's the 2-minute timer. And that's an EBR, and our EBR is a one-shot. So, if this EBR could reset us enough, remember, he's not a one-shot either. If he could reset us enough and kill our EBR, we are going to be in an interesting situation, because we have 1 minute and 44. Remember, it is 25 seconds. And there goes our EBR. We have 25 seconds to cap this out. We have 1 on, that's 1 minute 32. There's 2, that's 45. And we need to get that 3rd vehicle on. EBRs are tough to hit, especially with IS-7s and 277s who don't have the greatest accuracy to begin with. So we only have 2 on cap right now, but we're anticipating that EBR just coming over the top here. So you can see the 277 coming in. Look for that 277. Oh, the EBR is definitely trapped now. And this game should be over, right? No. It is not quite yet. Remember, it's not over till it's over. It's 50 seconds. 10 seconds, 9. The EBR is going to get 1 more shot in, but there's only 42 seconds left on this clock. 3, 2. The EBR is going to reset for 18. Now we can't afford another reset. Luckily, Malto is going to hit a 659 HE shell into that S-Conk, and Lilo is going to finish it off. So we won this game with 24 seconds left. Do not underestimate the last vehicle, especially if it's an EBR and you're on a time crunch. But overall, that was a great win. So let's do our recap. And I'm sure this video is at 25 minutes now. We pushed chieftains into the middle, focusing left. We then pushed heavies up to Bravo 1. The enemy team ignored Alpha Bravo 1 and tried to overmatch us by pushing down the 6 line. The E3 was able to hold them off decently. We pulled 2 IS-7s back to support that E3. We then left the 277, brought everybody back to the middle, and did a full push through the middle, splitting at about the top corner of F6 to get 2 different little fighting groups. From there, we made a crucial decision at Echo 7 to decide to push down the 7 line towards the enemy base, and ultimately clearing out the pocket at the top left corner of D6 and D8. We then ran into another situation where they had chieftains coming up behind them from about Echo Foxtrot 8, pushed through, cleared out the tanks all the way to Alpha 8 with the support of EBR, then turned around, created 2 separate fighting groups, again, despite still having the overmatch. You never want to lose your fundamentals, and cleared out the 2 remaining chieftains. From there, we got on cap, rightly so, with 2 minutes left as that 2-minute timer. The tanks were over here when that 2-minute timer went off. Missed some shots against the EBR, but ultimately we had some players make fantastic shots against that light tank, bringing us the win with just a couple of seconds left on the timer. So I hope you enjoyed this video. A lot going on here. We had multiple crucial decisions that we had to make, and luckily we made all of them correctly because we won the game. So there are a couple of good examples to go off of there. This map is notoriously difficult to call and attack and defend on. So again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.